Welcome to another Story Roundtable. This one is Universe Journey the Musical. Yay! We just did a Universe Journey Roundtable at the end of Season 9. So this is like the first episode since the last Roundtable. But Kristin, I know, really wanted to do a Roundtable specifically on the musical.
Did I?
You did, because I wasn't going to do it and you said I really want to. So I said, okay, we'll schedule it.
Oh, I probably said that one night, like out at dinner or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys. It's my fault.
Thanks, Kristin.
Well, so Universe Journey, The Search for Home. We have talked a lot about, as a cast, that this musical was about upbeat and hopeful things versus the first musical, which was sad and dark and depressing and ushered in years of sad and dark and depressing Universe Journey. Hopefully it'll be happier after this. I think there's some happy things in the future.
I feel like that laughter was a spoiler alert.
But I'd say the main thrust here was the crew coming together, right? Everybody got to play a little bit of a role in saving Everly, or almost everybody got to play a little bit of a role in saving Everly's life. Who thinks we should have killed the kid instead? Megan raised her hand. Megan, why?
You can't prove I raised my hand. It's a podcast.
Very Z response, though.
No, that was a Z response. Chaotic chaos. So Z was another part of this, though, because she started this on this journey, and she could have saved Everly at any point. Why didn't she?
I kind of felt like it was to give the crew a chance to discover new ways of going through the universe. I kind of thought it was a way. In my mind, it was, if she could justify it at all, if it wasn't just a mood swing, that she knew that if they figured some of this stuff out, that it would further their ability to travel into different dimensions, basically.
I think there's always a dynamic of how much of Z is playing them or manipulating them to push them to be better, and how much of it is just her being petty and judgmental.
Yeah. So I think at the point where they were asking, it was so desperate that she was being petty. But I think that she wanted to be a part of the crew so much. I kind of was struggling with why wouldn't she help, because then that would totally endear her to the rest of the crew. And then I also thought, Kake was begging so much that she could have had him be her love slave like she always wanted or something like that, but she just didn't want to. So I really wanted to lean more towards it was to help the crew make a discovery on their own.
Why do you think she changed her mind and ended up helping them?
She didn't. It was
Nito
that helped. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, she took credit for it.
Oh, yeah. I think because she really did love the crew, I think that's why it hurt so much when she was completely rejected. She really totally didn't understand that they were still angry. So,
spoiler for next month's episode that we performed in February.
Okay, yeah.
Where we deal with the fallout.
Note to self, edit this part out.
You, Megan, while we're on you, you wrote lyrics for the Kake and Zora song, or Z song. What was your inspiration behind that?
Well, I went to do a patter song. And I think I just basically copied Sondheim's Not Getting Married Today from Company.
I love it.
But then Kristin took that and turned it into an original song, so it doesn't even sound like the same, which is amazing. So I had to not listen to that song anymore so that I could get the real song, like what Kristin wrote, in my head. And I just loved it, so she did a great job.
Nick Kake. He put Z on the crew. Why do you think he put Z on the crew?
I have no idea. I think there's a part of him that, he is frustrated by Z, but, I'm not going to lie, there's a part of me that doesn't remember exactly why he put her on the crew or what was the impetus for that, but I think it was to get Foley back, right? Or
to get Luna back.
To get Luna back for Foley. So,
Of sending someone else home.
Right.
Yeah. Because I also think he feels that if anyone could really get us home, it's going to be Foley, but we need Foley at top. We need Foley to be Foley. And the only way to get that is to bring Luna back. Sorry, I got jumbled in my head for a second. So I think that was the primary thing. But then there is a kind of a weird soft spot for Z, I think. Very deep down, he wouldn't admit it necessarily, just because it's mostly antagonistic, his dealings with Z. And I don't think does he realize that she's still childlike in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Okay.
we've seen a maturing, but I think she's still pretty immature in a lot of ways.
Right. So I think there's a little bit of that too, where maybe there's some not sick part of him, but like some part of him that thinks maybe I can help train the child a little bit, and also keep eye on her. Of course, that's you can't do that. So necessarily with a being that powerful. So, but yeah, I'm rambling now.
Well, Kake obviously was the captain for most of the run of the series and is not anymore, but is still making decisions like hiding Z behind Tokolati's back. Do you think he's struggling to cede command and power over to her, even though I think he does trust her a lot, but...
I think with Z, though, that was one of those things where he knows he messed up, done bad, and that was one of those things where he's like, I can still control this and keep everything even keel and protect everybody from what... Because it's one of the things, knowledge is not necessarily power, but knowledge can be a bad thing, too. And so I think in his mind, if I can control what knowledge goes out to everybody, everyone will be... We're already in a bad situation. It's going to make a bad situation worse. I'm hoping deep down that is why he did that. But no, I think that, I mean, after him and Tokolati talked out their command things, he was just more like, no, you're right. Yeah, it's all you. And then he was fine. But the Z part, I think, is the one last thing that I think he was more worried about, how it would impact the crew. And if it impacts the crew too much, I think he knows Z is going to try to keep her word and not help. And if that happens, then they're on their own. And if it's like live together, die alone kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So hand over control of the starship, but still try to clean up your own mess.
A little bit, yeah. That's a much better way of saying it. But it took me 2 minutes to say. Thank you.
Katie, how do you feel Tokolati settling into command here?
I think she's doing really well. I wouldn't have expected it a long time ago, but I actually think she's really good at being a leader in some capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I agree. How do you think she manages balancing her different priorities with her family and her command and the tough decisions?
I think she does it remarkably well. Like me, Katie, I'd be having like a breakdown every like episode. So to me, I'm like, I think she's really like remarkable in that regard, because she does have a lot of like things that she is juggling constantly, and it just doesn't stop. And she still, like, I think makes good decisions. I still think she tries to do like right by the crew, right by her family, and I feel like she's doing better than most people could hope for in that position.
Well, Kake and Tokolati seem to be in a really good position, or a good place with one another when they had that song, You and the Crew.
Yeah.
But that was before the Z reveal. Do you think that's now destroyed, or do you think they will be able to work past it and have a good working relationship?
I think that's the natural cycle of Kake and Tokolati, and it always has been, and I think like it always will be. But I think that's what continues to like... That's why that song exists, right? Because they are so different, but they can learn so much from each other. Like, so I think like that's going to be a perpetual cycle. That's like, I don't know, it has been going on and it continues to go on, even though like they've both progressed so much. I don't think that they're like, they still have strengths that are completely different from each other. And I think they're always going to butt heads from time to time in that way.
Makes sense. And then you and Nick and Yohe as Anders had the Captains reprise, which was the song we brought over from the original first musical. Obviously, we're seeing Anders have some growth and start to step up a bit more in the command structure. What does that song represent to each of you, where your character is and where you hope they'll go?
I mean, for Anders, it is an opportunity that, like the song says, he didn't expect it, and holy shit, it's right there. So, yes, excited. So it's just this true feeling of thinking through decisions and actions he's had to make throughout the years, and just having Tokolati say, like, you're ready. There is nobody else I want you. It was just this really cool spot where it's just like, it's happening, and just got really excited. So that's, to Anders, that is very much, this is just like yes!
Well, we've seen such a growth arc from when he completely blew it when the Eastwood Station was attacked.
Listen, he didn't know.
Up through him managing two personalities clashing as captain and coming off as a really good first officer, and then finally getting his own chance to shine.
Hear, hear.
But I want to hear Katie and Nick's answer to that question as well.
You're the captain.
All right. No, but I mean, honestly, I think that's sort of the one part of like where Takalati finds herself is like, I think she has had such respect for Kake, and I think part of that song is trying to own like, I am in that role now, like really fully owning it and embodying it. And she's also in a position of power to like lift up someone else who is not like, historically, Anders has been like forgotten. And I think she, like Takalati knows how that is better than anyone else. She's like been that character since the beginning who like was sort of underestimated. So now she's like embodying the captain and also in a position to like uplift other people who are not necessarily getting what they deserve, I think.
And Takalati was Anders' mentor for a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Still is.
Yeah.
My take on it was more of a there's a bit of sadness in there, but it was almost like a firm coming, or like a firm denouncement. I was the captain. I was the one who was in charge. And there's a bit of wistfulness in there in that denouncement, but at the same time, I don't think there's too much sadness in it either. I think it's just more, I think it's him out loud through song embracing his new position, even though he's been, again, once they worked out their little thing, I think he was very much like 100% fine with it. But again, it's just that there's still emotions still in there that, you know, I did enjoy being a captain.
Yeah.
I'm not the captain anymore. I was the captain. And
will you ever be captain again?
It could be. Maybe not. But that's the thing though, is that's part of Kake's journey. Is I think that if it came down to someone told him that no matter who it was, like say what was it, Joe's character from the first episode, like his best, Gary, right? Gary, like they were super close, or even Foley at the beginning of the show, and said, "You're going to give out your captain to him." You know, and because and he would go like, "No, I'm the captain. I would never." He would not do that, and I feel like that's a very different place than he is now, where he's willing to give that up, and maybe he's a little happier giving it up too. Yeah. So,
Yeah, please.
I think it was your idea to reprise that song entirely, and I don't know that I would have thought of it. There are a couple of other direct references to the first musical, but having an entire song almost come back was your idea, and I'm really glad that we did, because in the first one, Nick, that was a solo for you, and it was when you were on the brink of losing the captainship and seeing what that emotionally did to him then. So I think it's really cool to bring it back when he, under different circumstances, is not the captain, but like you're more fine with it now. Like you have a peace about it, and there's so much growth that's gone into it, and also we're sort of trading off that what a perilous precipice it is to be the captain to two other people. Because that song, to me, like, it is very positive, but you can tell there's always this little bit of, like, things are right on the edge. And I think we can see that with the three characters singing. But I like that it was a good way to show especially Kake's growth through having that song come back again.
The tempo of the song in particular really drove that in, like, dunt, dunt, dunt. Mm-hmm. And then like I don't want to say atypical, but just like how the phrasing, like some of the lines were like really just like go 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 go, don't breathe, don't breathe, don't breathe. So I think that really does hammer in the note, like you said, of just like that little precipice of like.
Yeah, when you don't let singers breathe, they sound like desperate and, and a little like shaky. Yeah, no.
So I have maybe this is my memory faulty, but then at one point one of us offered Anders a leadership position, and he actually said, "I know I'm not ready for that," or am I imagining that?
I don't recall that,
okay.
but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Okay. For some reason I imagined that, so for some reason I don't know why I thought that Anders did that, and then Anders like, "No, I don't think I'm ready yet." And then, because in my head it makes it even more awesome that now he is ready, and he is.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed seeing Anders grow and develop. I want to jump back. I should have, when we were talking about you and the crew, the Kake Tokolati song. Sam wrote the lyrics for that, so I want to know what her inspiration was and what she was thinking about.
That one's a little harder to answer, because at first I misread the prompt and I thought it was supposed to be like a more doom and gloom song, so I was really excited about that. I was like, yes, death, destruction, doom. But no, and then I was like, oh, it's supposed to be more hopeful and happy. And then this one I really struggled with lyrically. I had been taking a couple like online poetry classes, so I was excited to get to use some like of my new skills and just the lyrics. Like my husband and I were going out to eat, and then it just popped in my head, and I was like, oh, this is the tune I want it to sound like. And I had the tune first, and I had to make the words fit the tune. And then I sent a voice note over to Kristin. And actually, I don't think you said you didn't get that voice note, or it didn't come through for the second song.
Yeah, I'd only had the lyrics for that one.
So I sent the lyrics, and the voice note either didn't go through, or like, email does that weird collapse thing, and then you just can't, you don't see that you have an attachment. But what she came back with was really similar with what I had already sent, so I was like, woohoo! So that one just kind of came out of nowhere. I had the tune first, and I had to fit the words to what I wanted it to sound like.
Yeah, that one was really easy to write,
just
because I feel like it sounded like the characters. I could hear the rhythm in my head as soon as I read it, and it was just, that was just a really fun song to write. So
Yay.
Thank you for that.
Glad I can make it easy for you.
Well, the other song you wrote lyrics for, Sam, was My Forever, which was our Foley Luna love song. And I
love that
and
one.
I'm pretty sure in the first musical you contributed to Foley's dark, depressing, sad song with after his wife died. I thought you helped me with the lyrics on that one.
Maybe a couple lines, but it was Safety Chief is my claim to fame.
Okay. But yeah, that was barely in the musical. But
I'm just
yeah. Now, speak of how you felt about Foley and Luna and how you decided to sum up their relationship.
So that song I was really, really excited to write. I tend to lean towards really dark themes in like my personal writing especially, so I don't my husband's always like, it's going to be sad, isn't it? And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to write a love song and it's going to be great. And I was very excited about it. So like I said, I had taken a couple poetry classes, and I was looking up like pop song structures, because I'm not a musician, but I feel like I'm pretty good with words. So I'm like, okay, let's try to put all this together. So I was looking up like just the structure and how, like, okay, you need this, you need this, you need a bridge, you need this, and then you need the chorus. And I looked up a bunch of space terms, and I got ones that rhymed, and trying to make those work together. And I was looking up some definitions. I'm like, okay, this works here. So just kind of putting that one together. And that was the more clear one. And like, I had just gotten married myself, and they're also a real married couple, and just like, so I was just feeling like all the lovey-dovey, and I just wanted to like try to pour it as much into that as possible. I like to make people cry. I don't know. No, I was kidding.
I will say you put the theme of home into that one.
Yes,
that
that
I
was
really,
tough.
really liked. But we already had like 4 other songs that like had home as like the anchor word of the song, and I was like, I love it. I'm gonna change the core, like the crux that the song was written around. So that's where my forever came from instead of like my home.
Yeah, no, and it works. I think it worked out better. It's like, it feels like adventure was what you had suggested. Instead, it feels like adventure. And
oh yeah,
so because it used to be it feels like home at the end, and then because we already had those home themes, and that voice note did go through. So yay! But I had specified in the voice note, you are the musician, I am not. This is just what I hear in my head. You don't at all have to use it. I will not be offended. It's okay. But this is what I hear in my head. Here you go. And then I had a hard time coming up with that, what's going to replace home. And like, I sent a list of like, I think these lines could work. And then she's like, how about this? And I was like, perfect, do it.
Forever and adventure.
Yep.
Well, Sam and Ashley, other Sam, sorry.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about that song and how it felt for you? And
We are not singers.
Nope.
So it was really hard.
Aww.
But the advantage to actually being married and living in the same house is we practice a lot. It's like, I'll hear him upstairs, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Sam's very loud.
What?
No.
You can hear him anywhere in the house. So I'll be like in the living room, like editing a script or something, and I'll hear him in the shower singing. And so then I just filled my stuff in, even though we're on separate floors of the house.
Yep. And then after the musical happened, it never happened again.
Not once, no. And we did far worse in the musical than we ever did at home.
Aww.
It sounded way better at home.
I mean, all songs sound better in the shower, though. That's the general rule. And that's where I do most of my singing. So
good
can we just
acoustics.
bring the mic into the shower next
Shane,
time?
can we put a shower on stage? Sorry. It was worth an
Oh,
ask.
thank you. I appreciate it.
It was a lovely song, though. And
Yes.
How do you feel? I mean, I think they've definitely had a rough patch after Luna joined him on the ship. Do you think they've kind of settled into something of a happy marriage? Or not marriage yet, but...
Spoilers.
I think they found just a level of normalcy, right? I would say, which in the situation that we're in is not something that's really present. But hey, I'm going to go do a day job or do this. I'm going to do, whatever tasks that Foley wants to do. It really does feel like it's kind of that platonic, not platonic, but
I was going to say,
what's
excuse
that?
me?
What's that? The home phrase. It's a. No, I can't think of it.
Domestic?
Maybe. No, that's not it. But either way, it just feels like it's a natural, kind of home life and environment.
Yes.
What do you think your characters bring out in each other?
Rage? Oh, no, all right. That's my actual marriage.
Characters.
Thank you. My actual marriage.
And I'm the one who gets all filled with rage.
I think she has grounded and really been a kind of an anchor for Foley, especially because, he's been going through a whirlwind of emotion and I think he's been down on himself for so long, but she's always there to kind of steady him and to show him and be very truthful. Here's what you need right now. You need to do this. And I think that does match who Ashley is in real life too, so that makes it even easier to follow through with. But I think Luna does that a lot for him.
I think Foley gets Luna out of her 100% work-driven mind. Like when she was first on back in 2018, that was the only thing she focused on. She didn't care about anything else. She was stuck with Meow Meow and Jameson for I don't even remember how long, and she built friendships with them, but they weren't super strong. So now she's not as focused on her work anymore. She is still very much about her career, but if you go back and listen to a bunch of episodes, this right here is 90% of her personality now. Everything she ever talks about is just Colm is my home. Everything, even all of her songs, Colm is part of. Right? It's he's just taken over a huge part of her life, and so I think that she needs to kind of work on going a little more towards work again and maybe focus on some friendships, which now we have a bestie over here.
That's the next thing we're going to talk about.
So I think that he's made her more of a person and less of a workaholic.
One more question before I talk about Luna and Tokolati, because I do want to talk about Luna and Tokolati. But if they actually tie the knot, this will be Foley's third marriage. Do you think the third time's the charm? The first two ended in death. So.
I can only answer as a character. I'm not allowed to answer that in real life. I think I'll get in trouble. But you know what? I think we got a good, strong chance here. I'm going to hedge my bets, left and right. We don't know what's going to happen. As he sends me another world, I might have to tie the knot again. But we'll have to see how it goes.
I say both the first two times his wife died, so it's not like he's had divorces.
Whoa, what's the phrase for a black widow? But if it's a dude. Black widower, is that what Foley is?
Maybe.
Oh, who knows? Maybe there's a secret that we have to unveil.
Well, you're my second marriage, so in real life.
So the third time will be better.
You know what? I think
so. The third time I get married, I marry you again. So I think that's solid.
I am legally obligated to say yes. It will be better.
So yeah, Ashley, you mentioned. I think part of just writing the work was because you were there to serve another character. You weren't a main character yet. Luna wasn't a main character yet. She was there to serve Meow Meow's plot and Jameson's plot.
Right.
And now she's stuck around, so we've had time to develop her. And one way we're developing
thanks for
her.
keeping me.
Yeah, of course. I've enjoyed her. One way we're developing her is with her relationship with Michelle Tokolati, who they have not gone along in quite a while. We've had a lot of discussions about why. About why they didn't get along. So I would like to hear both Ashley and Kitty's perspective on Tokolati and Luna's relationship up to this point and where you think how that might inform where it goes from here.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Wow, it's like the start of the song.
That wasn't intentional.
I think the actor, did not put very much thought in their relationship, and I think either life imitates art or whatever, but I feel like I didn't really think about I've just been sort of thinking about all the other things that's going on in her world, and I did not really think about friendship or how important that would be or how much she probably needed it. And I didn't really think about like how much she's sort of neglected that, especially with Luna. Like they didn't really have much of a relationship at all, and I think that's kind of where part of the problem stemmed from, is that Chocolati is not, she's stretched very thin, and as I said earlier, I think she's doing well at a lot of things, but that is one way that she was majorly failing other people, is like cultivating those relationships that aren't like, you know, baby on the brink of death and you know, all that stuff.
It's something I've said before, is that there really aren't any solid female friendships in Universe Journey. There's great female characters, but all of their best friends or closest friends are men. Yeah. And so and we have all these amazing female characters, and none of them are really friends with each other. The closest thing we had was Bernie and New, and even that, like, they're still friends, but like the actual dynamic was short-lived. Yeah. And with Luna and Chocolati, like, they have so much in common. Like, they're still two very different characters, but they are very similar in a lot of ways, too. And so, like, I've been complaining for years. I'm like, why are they not friends? Why are we still fighting? What are we fighting about? Because I can never remember why we were fighting.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I was so glad when you brought that up to me. It was like a light bulb moment for me. Like, yeah, she doesn't have any female friends, like, at all, and never has. It's like, we're passing the Bechdel test now, you know?
Yeah. We're going to get all those solid female friendships this month.
Yeah.
This month being March.
Well, I don't know when this is going to be on the podcast.
This will be on the podcast right after the musical.
I don't know when that is.
So, like, 3 episodes from now, you'll get the female friendship episode.
Yes.
Kristin, you want to talk about writing the Luna Chocolati song? Because that was such a unique experience, I think. You approached it very differently.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was very adamant at first that that was one of the 4 songs I wanted to write. In general, I thought that song should be written by a woman, no offense, but I just felt like that was important. I thought it was going to be the easiest song to write. It was the hardest song I've ever written for this show. It was so good, though. It was like a last minute thing. Like, we were down to like the day or the week of like having to rehearse it, because I know we were limited with some of the availability, and I was in a panic. And I wrote at one point during what was supposed to be our first rehearsal for it, instead of rehearsing, I like interviewed Katie and Ashley, because I wanted to understand their perspectives, like everything they just talked about, of what the dynamic and where the tension between them was. Because I thought having more details would make it easier to write. And it was a great conversation, and there was so much clarity. And then I walked away, and it was harder to write, because now it's like, I got to fit all of this. Like, we've got like years of history, and I at most can stretch this to be maybe a 5-minute song. How do I fit all of this into a song? Oh my God. So 2 things. First of all, that's partly why it was spoken, because I did want it to be more conversational, and I didn't want to distract from the content of what they were saying with it being sung. And also, you just can get more in when people are just talking. But also, part of it was I made the decision that, I don't know if other people have had this experience in life, but like in your head when you're preparing what you want to say, you think you have to talk about everything, and you want to like, and then, oh, and you said this, and then I did that, and you want to make your point. You want to get everything out. And then when the chance comes, you kind of just realize, all I have to say is I'm sorry and I wish we were friends. Like, can we just start over, was kind of where it landed. And I'm so glad that it did, because it turned out it is now one of my favorite songs. And I think the harmonies you guys did from the end of the bridge through the end of the song are some of the most beautiful that we've ever done on this show. And it was incredible, and it was performed amazingly, and it became my favorite, but it was the longest road to get there. So I'm just happy it became what it
was worth it.
Yeah, what it was.
So does it remain your favorite of the 11 songs in this musical?
Probably, and somewhat because of how hard it was to write, and then I love that it took those characters where it did. I think it was the biggest payoff song, for sure.
You wrote lyrics for 4.5 of the 11 songs for this musical, which was more than anybody else. You also were involved in the story process quite a bit. Why? What about this musical, like, really engaged you?
Well, the reason you do a musical is because you're at a pivotal moment in the story. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure, like, I need to understand where all the characters are in order to write the songs. So I can't really not know what the lines are in between the song or what all the scenes say, and then write an accurate song to it. So in a way, you have to be involved and know exactly where everyone is, because otherwise there's going to be a disconnect between the straight just play scenes and then the music when those come in. So partly it's just artistically easier, and also just, I don't know, I think we all like to have ownership of our characters, and this show in particular, and we were all in a really strong, interesting place.
We also did another thing that we hadn't done before, where you and I wrote lyrics together for a song. We actually sat in a room and went back and forth on the Hope, the concierge and Jay and Anders and Tokolati. Hope. Was that something you would want to repeat in the future, or was that like horrible?
It wasn't horrible. No. It wasn't horrible at all. And usually, like, you are so much better at just, like, getting something down, getting a structure set, and then, like, working on it later. And that helps me, because the reason why I don't write more is because it takes me forever, because I self-edit as I'm writing. So what should take me, like, maybe 20 minutes to just get a structure or an outline down, it takes me 3 or 4 hours, because I'm not happy until it's in its final form. So no, that was helpful to me, and that one was fun. That was a fun song, and I think we both understood the dynamics going on there. So no, that was not a painful process. I would do that again.
That song does have the one thing that bothers me the most about the musical. The one I know Kristin's gonna roll her eyes at me. Shane is the part of this. The concierge, when they're singing, and I can't remember the exact line now, but that he...
Come on, Michelle, you know us well.
Yes, and she doesn't know the concierge
like
well.
A week or two before the actual musical, Jimmy sends us a message like, this is really bugging me. She doesn't know the concierge. Is there any way we can... No! Absolutely not.
He doesn't have a lot of depth.
Not yet, but he had a role in this musical, because he was trying to find home and ingratiate himself in the crew. You had a big role in shaping this character. When we decided to kill off Meow Meow, you were involved in, you pitched a character and named him and all of that stuff. Has the character grown the way you thought it would, or has it taken some different directions?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I know we're not going spoilers, but I think he's got some even additional value on the way coming up. But yeah, I mean, he was pretty much, they were in a bad spot, and, you know, he was this mysterious figure that could maybe get them what they needed, and turns out, he wasn't a villain. Mm-hmm. They weren't sure, and that was a fun little, like, maybe he is.
I'm still not sure.
That's true. Mm-hmm. And then he did obviously play a role in The Cure. There was some reveal there about the echo dimension.
Yeah.
I feel like that might have been your pitch, because you were involved in story process as well.
Yeah, well, I think my pitch was a little more comical of somebody is like, oh, we need this one specific thing, and concierge is just like, oh, this thing right here in my hand. but yeah, basically that kind of boiled down to, I know I know exactly what it is you're looking for, and I can probably get my hands on it, maybe, and then actually not. But pointing them in the right direction was huge, because,
I had mentioned you were involved in, like, story pitch and process and stuff. What do you think was your favorite contribution to the musical, Shane?
I don't know.
Don't look at me.
I don't have an answer to that.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to say, you were involved in pitching on a lot of stories, so you're usually part of the process.
I'm not, at this point, our pitches are like 3 years ahead, so it's hard to remember 3 years ago when we pitched.
I mean, we did start writing this musical, like, not quite 2 years ago, but a long time ago. Yeah. So, it has been a while. Let's talk about the Yana Norton song plot. We left them behind several episodes before the end of last season. Yay.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure I told you both from the beginning that we would see them again, but did either of you start to doubt, like, oh, maybe they just changed their mind and we're not going to see Norton and Yana?
No, because I think you would have told us at one point, like, oh, we're gonna just not do it. Mm-hmm. They're just gone forever.
I don't know. I kind of was waiting for that for so long that I did start to think, oh, maybe they just forgot about us. Like, oh, well.
There was like no mention of it for a while,
Yes.
so it was like, okay. But then you'd hear like, oh, Norton and Yana. I was like, no, somewhere.
We're still in play.
Yeah.
Well, the not mentioning was purposeful because I wanted it to feel like they weren't coming back.
Yeah.
Before they did.
Well done.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks. What do you think? I mean, your song is the one that's might be the saddest, most depressing in the musical.
Yeah.
Which is why it's my favorite.
It's weird though because we just got them back,
And
so
they
it's weird
said-
that it's so sad. Like
Yeah.
I don't quite understand it.
And they mention hot dogs and beer. Mm-hmm. I mean, how can you be sad?
Well, I
that's
think
true, yeah.
I think it's everybody else is moving on a positive direction, but they still have a lot of trauma to process, and I think that's where the sadness came from. I mean, I worked on the lyrics on that song, and that's my approach to it. I also think we don't get into it deeply here, but I think part of Norton doesn't quite believe they were rescued.
Right.
Still to this day, like months later. How do you approach playing that, Megan?
Well, I guess we'll find out today. I think it's basically a little bit of just pulled back and not completely invested in what's going on because it may not be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you think Yana approaches it differently, Joe?
I think Yana doesn't really know how to process trauma because he's just always just like, yeah, that's just life. He just kind of has to move forward. And now that I think it's something that was so traumatic that he had to experience, he's going to try and process it a little differently. We'll find out more today as well.
More, yeah. I mean, so they were really becoming close friends before this happened. Do you think this experience will bring them closer together or drive them apart?
I think it depends on the journey they both go on.
Yeah.
On processing it. But I do think, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like sometimes people want to get away from the reminder of what you went through.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that would be really sad because it's a really great comedy duo for sure. But at the same time, I think if they do have a healing process, it might take them in completely different directions.
I could see it slowly come back into the fold, but they might just have some time apart.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, if they kept us in the same room while they were torturing us, I mean, to see each other, like, so I couldn't probably look him in the eye knowing what he's gone through, what I've seen them do to him, that kind of thing might be just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the opening song. We could have started with that, but we didn't. That, I go back and forth on what my favorite song from the musical is, but many times I keep coming back to Finding Home as my favorite song. I think I talked to Kristin about this, that even though the lyrics are upbeat and happy, there's a lot of bittersweetness to it. Nito and Foley sing about, it feels like it's almost over before we start in that song. You know, like there's a lot of disbelief, not just from Norton, but from others, that it's actually going to be all right. Kristin, what was your approach to shaping that song, and what were you thinking as you wrote the lyrics and the melody?
So you had written, and this was very, very helpful, just sort of a little outline of what is probably foremost on each of the, I think there were eight or nine characters. Nine who sang that song, and you sort of gave a little blurb of what you thought would be at the forefront of their minds. So knowing I was going to give each of them like their own verse helped a lot with that. So I made it so if you listen to it, there are some characters, I think Luna and Kake, like the end of their solos end on a like more of an upbeat, like in a major chord. So like there's the opportunity for it to sound more hopeful, but then other people's ended like on a minor. So it is this very musical mix of happy or a little foreboding still, which matches where they were at the beginning of the song. I made it way too difficult on myself, and I started out in the first couple like making internal rhymes within the verses, and then once I set that as a precedent, I felt like I had to keep doing it. So it took a while to write, but yeah, I was really, really excited to showcase everyone's talent, and then also to let each character have their own a little glimpse into their minds to get the show started.
Yeah, Nito's the main character we haven't really talked about yet, other than Jay, because Chase isn't here at the moment. So Nito is still the newest of the main characters. I mean, she was there before the concierge, but she wasn't. She still feels newer to me in some ways, because he came in as like a more developed individual, whereas Nito is as based on her age and experience, still growing into who she is.
Yeah.
What do you think of Nito's journey so far and her role in this?
I think we've just seen this sort of passive growth sort of happening, which is good, because while there's been so many like action-packed like moments for the last like year with like everything, you know, most episodes someone's on the brink of death or dying, and like whether it's a security officer or our main crew going missing, I think there's a lot of peril going on. So for someone to just kind of like, she's kind of this protected character where she's like sort of just working on her skills and focusing on becoming a proper crew member. Like she just got promoted after the musical.
After the musical.
After the musical. Spoiler.
Minor spoiler.
Minor spoiler. But so, you know, we start to see fruit of that growth, and I think it'll be interesting to see just where she goes from there. I think, like I said, she's been this protected character. I think Foley's taken the grunt of like a lot of still the main mechanical workings and problem solving and stuff like that. And most of the crew, including like the captain and stuff like that, aren't necessarily thinking about Nito for like problem solving just yet.
Mm-hmm. Do you think she has relationships with all of the senior staff, or most of them you think she probably doesn't interact with like at all at this point?
At this point, I don't think that she interacts with most of the upper staff. She hangs out with Bernie, and she definitely shoots the shit with like the lower decks. But I think that she feels a little bit imposterish, like hanging out with the bridge crew for now. We'll see if that changes.
Well, we also had Among the Stars, where we got to hear from Nito, because she didn't have a solo in like a solo song or a duet.
No.
But she had her bigger parts were in the opening and in Among the Stars. And we also got to hear from Bernie and Teak and Ray and Stoker.
Yeah.
And
if you're in this song, come
please
on
come
up, because I'd like to hear people talk.
Exactly. Yeah, the characters the
this
actors
is my first
we haven't
roundtable.
talked.
I didn't know how to do it.
Really?
Yes.
Wendy, we're going to talk about you too. But yeah, this was our chance to give all the minor characters these little glimpses, and I think we hung it on in Concierge, Nito, Bernie, and Teak as like the four main singers in that one, and then we had a lot of other people that got little bits of lines.
Ray too was sort of a grounding person for the harmonies, at least.
Yeah, for the harmonies.
Nathan, yeah.
He didn't have as long as solos as those other characters, but Bernie, Sam, isn't a main character, but what do you feel her role is with in the greater ensemble?
She's definitely she's a support role. She's there for everyone. She is really excited to learn and absorb information. She wants mentorship. She wants her career to be successful. So I think she's driven, and I think she loves to support people and be there for them.
That's a great answer. And Kristin, Teak, Teak's a supporting character too, but he's been around for a long time.
Yeah. Before we do that, and Sam, if you don't want me to say this, we can tell Megan to cut it out. But I just have to say, like, Sam came to me, I think, on your own, and you specifically wanted to sing in this show as a challenge to yourself.
Yeah. Singing terrifies me. I'll do I like acting. I like being in front of a crowd. I'll act like a goof. Whatever. You give me anything, and I am comfortable. I'll do it. I don't care. But singing, like I said in the Dirt, just now in the Dirt series wrap up podcast episode, singing makes me want to curl up into a ball and cry. I've been in choir my whole life. I've never sang myself. So it's been a challenge for me and for years I've been saying I want to get over this fear of it. And I don't know why I'm getting emotional, oh my gosh. But the support that I've gotten from everyone has been really, really great. And thank you. And I hope to continue to push myself in that vain because it terrifies me.
That's amazing though. Like to take the thing that like most like frightens you and to be like, so I'm gonna do it. So like that is incredible.
I quietly did an applause and I was like, oh, I don't want to. I was like, well, yeah.
But you did amazing too. Like that doesn't matter. Like ultimately, like the result isn't what mattered. But like to put a point on it, like, and you sounded great. Like,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm doing a loud round of applause now. 'Cause
I think the two things. I think the thing that Sam Stark and Bernie have in common is their like self-starterness and like going after what they want and like saying it, you know, putting it into the universe and going after it. Like, you know, Bernie going after languages and new pieces of science and talking to Luna and being like, I want this, like I'm going after this, like pursuing her own, like nobody's stepping in for her like automatically, so she's going to grab it. And the same thing with Sam coming to Kristin for like music. She's like, I'm ready, like give it to me. Like
Thanks, guys.
Just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Kristin, you want to talk about Teak?
Yeah, there's not a lot to say about Teak.
Not yet. We've got plans for Teak.
We do have plans for the character, but right now, like it was interesting thinking of how Teak would sing. So that was really exciting and cute. But I think Teak is just sincerely like, I'm not sure. Maybe golden retriever isn't correct, but like that level of happiness, but also this element of like, it's always exciting to learn something new. Or even if like you don't know it yet, like it's just that constant like, ooh, like everything is an adventure and exciting and a possibility. And I just love that like perpetual crackly energy that he has. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It was cute. And I think it was a funny energy in a show that we were very consciously trying to make sure we inserted hope and some lightness too. So Teak's a good tool for that.
I like it. Joe, because Yana wasn't showing up till later and Megan had Zora to play, we gave you a new character, Fizzer. How do you make these characters with these tiny little bits? I want to see so much more. Like, every time you do it, it's like, oh, he's learning to play guitar? I want to know more about this.
I don't know.
I am so sad that we couldn't actually have, like, you strum a guitar during those two lines.
That could have been fun to
You could add that in post, Kristin, when you edit the podcast.
I probably would.
I was like, yeah, because I don't know how to play guitar.
I did for the rehearsal track, so I can definitely do it for the post.
Nice. It was such a fun bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I just read the script and was like, I don't know, we'll try it this way, see what happens.
And speaking of new fun characters, Wendy, Hayes, I know I had talked to you and asked you if you wanted to be in the musical, and you're like, yeah, definitely put me in the musical.
Yeah.
But the Hayes and Harvey subplot ended up being one of my favorite elements of the musical, just the comedy relief that is interwoven through the whole thing. Did you have fun doing it?
Absolutely. I loved it. I loved being a part of it. Not that I don't enjoy it, but I feel like playing heavy roles are very difficult, but Hayes was like a breeze. I loved it. I loved the feedback that everybody had from the audience. Everyone seemed to like it, and it was super fun. It was a blast.
You had fun traumatizing Nito?
Yeah, I did.
And then we all laughed when she died.
Right? Nito did not laugh.
Were you disappointed that Hayes was killed off?
No, I'm used to it. Give me a role and then you'll kill me.
But we needed you for the final song, so even though you had no lines, we renamed.
Yeah.
Like gave you a second
Webb.
name. Yeah.
Loved
Lieutenant
it.
Webb.
My maiden name.
Who may or I still think of you as Wendy Webb. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But who may or may not be seen again.
I love it. Either way, it was great to be a part of it. I know you guys worked really hard on it, and I just like played a blip in the life of Universe Journey, but I loved it. It was great.
Well, and Ben's not here to talk about it, but what were you and him? He seemed to have a good chemistry in those scenes.
Yeah.
You hadn't worked with Ben much before.
No, I haven't. It was fun playing back and forth with him. It seemed natural. It was like, oh, let's do something fun like this again. So.
Oh yeah, your comic timing.
I loved
the two
it.
of you was aces.
Yeah, so thanks for that.
Oh no, it really.
You have to watch the video to see it, but her little lurking around behind Nito and Bernie's scene was exactly what I wanted it to be, and it was so hilarious. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it now.
Yeah, it was fun.
To me, that whole thing is like when you see a movie, you've got your leads, of course, but when you have those little characters that just like are interwoven and just really without their subplot, even if it doesn't. I mean, it does matter to the main story because it's part of what gets Zora, you know.
Right.
But if that wasn't there, I think the musical would have been lacking something. It was worth it to have that subplot in. It really helped build it and round it. So appreciate
it. It was a little sprinkle to the sundae you guys
built. It was so good. The cherry on top.
Yeah.
Darren, Stoker, small part in this, but how did you approach singing with the Transylvanian accent?
I sang. What I did was I sang with a Transylvanian accent.
Would you care to demonstrate, Darren?
I just tried. I don't know. I just tried to do. That's what it's, how would Dracula sound singing this line? And tried to do it.
Well, speaking of like singing with accents, I think that like that's a really interesting like aspect of this musical. Like so many of our characters have really distinct voices and sounds, and like, did anybody feel like, I guess, one way or the other about having those voices come through? I remember in her rehearsals being told like, be clear over being your character, basically, when it comes to singing. Like this.
Yeah, at least for rehearsals, you always want to learn the song just like in the actor's voice, like just to learn it first, just to get comfortable with what the base of it is, and then add in the character later is like my thinking on it. And also, I think if you rehearse in your character's voice, you also lock yourself into what it's going to sound like very soon. And also, obviously for the people listening, it's more important that people hear the lovely words and the lovely voices first and be able to tell what we're saying. But I also always want you guys to incorporate like your characterizations and to not lose any personality. So as much as we can get in without compromising the diction and the enunciation, like it's always fun for me to see what you guys land on with your characters.
Well, and Darren, I'd say the more important role, because I like Stoker and I'm looking forward to giving him a little more here coming up, but the more important role you play in the show is the narrator, which sets the tone and so much of what the show feels like to the listening audience and everything. Just speak. I don't think we've ever talked in depth to you about your narration, like how you approach it, what's going through your mind. Talk about that, because you do such a good job narrating this whole thing, and I appreciate it.
I don't know how I can describe it. What I do is I say the words that are on the paper. I don't know. It was just I always when I was doing my own podcast, I had a narrator voice that I would do, and then it's kind of like a little bit old timey style of narration of this is what's going on, and I just try to follow that too.
I was just going to say, as narrator, I really like that. I remember early on you had brought up, like, hey, what if for this segment I sound a little more like this? So, like, your narration for Top Notch Tangler is going to be different than your narration for Privates, and you curtail your narration to that to bring, I would say, like, to elevate that level of that sketch, too.
Yes.
I just do. I don't know.
It's
You're awesome, Darren. Just accept it.
Making him blush.
It's such an essential component, and I don't want to overlook it, because a lot of times we take it for granted, but it's essential and it's important to have it. So
thanks.
It's
I like
a key.
when we play off the narrator.
Yeah. Last thing we're going to talk about in this is the finale song. Kristin, you put, everybody was in it, but mainly I want to talk to Kristin about it because you put lots of little... she may want to talk to some of you, but I want to talk to her about all the little Easter eggs and fun bits she put in, because I know a lot went into that finale.
Yeah. So, the finale was mostly a reprise of the other, like, what I considered to be the biggest songs, or at least the most memorable, like, musical themes, like the melodies that people would most be like, oh, right, that song. And with just a few lyrics changed here and there to be, like, more hopeful and upbeat. The one I'm most proud of, and I don't think he's ever been here when I talk about it, so I'm not even sure if he's aware, but the finale, other than the "We're the crew of the thrifty," the overlapping echoes of that line, the first line sung is by the character of Jay, and it's, family is more than who you come from, family is who you choose to be. And that's a direct line from Doctor Who's solo song from the first musical, but the little Easter egg fun thing there is, so Chase, the actor, was the voice of Doctor Who, but we didn't let him sing in the first musical. We thought it would be funny if Who's singing voice was Wendy's beautiful, beautiful operatic voice. So we did a little switcheroo. So Chase in the first musical never actually got to sing that song or that line, but I specifically gave that line, the opening line of the song, to Jay so that Chase would have to finally sing that line, which belonged to Doctor Who in the first one.
I love that you brought back that, and I love that you brought back that we're the crew of the thrifty. I think that was one of the first things we talked about the musical, was bringing that line back.
Yeah, we really wanted to weave that in, and sort of, it's not necessarily a passing of the torch because we have plenty of people who are still around and going to be for a long time, but it's just sort of the passage of time and how what the crew of the thrifty is. It's a moving and growing animal all into itself, but yeah, I liked that link also.
I mean, we put it on the T-shirts. I think it might be meaningful to the cast as well. But anyway, I think
go buy the merch.
I think it was no. That one's not for sale. That's exclusive for cast only.
Okay, never mind.
You're not part of the crew.
No,
but
no.
still buy the merch.
$100.
Yeah. Buy the other merch. Buy the other merch.
We are the crew of the thrifty.
Okay, well,
things.
thank you all, because this musical was awesome, and I appreciate you all sitting here. There were so many of you. I know some of you only got to talk for a couple minutes, like in the middle at some point, but I think it was very valuable to hear from all of you, and I really appreciate all the work you all did on this.
You guys all did amazing. Like, if you haven't listened to it or watched it, like, oh my gosh. It was wonderful. Thank you guys for all the work.
We did it.
Nice.
The same night. I was like, immediately.
Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, sound check time.
It's All Been Done Radio Hour number 565, Story Roundtable number 21, for Universe Journey, The Search for Home, featuring the cast of It's All Been Done Radio Hour. Our technical director is Shane Stefanchik. Our music director is Kristin Green. Theme songs are composed by Nathan Haley with lyrics by Olivia James. This podcast was edited by Olivia James. Check out our website at iabdpresents.com. Have a great week.
It's All Been Done presents
Who's got the time?